price will power up to the double discounts PSN sale. This sale's just for PS Plus members, so if you don't have it, you can skip this one, as the discounts are very good if you don't have a PS Plus membership. And for those who do, I found some really cool games for you, and you can save a lot of money on them as well. So hit that subscribe button, and you'll never miss a good sale again. You're welcome here anytime. This sale ends on the 1st of March, so that'll be our last day to pick up these deals. Let's look at the games. First up is Baldur's Gate and Baldur's Gate 2 Advanced Edition. It was released in 2019, so it's 4 years old, but they're much older games than that really, and they're on an 80% discount for the price of £9.59, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it for PS Plus users only. And this bundle includes both games, with all of the original DLC, and the more recent Siege of Dragonspear expansion, that adds over 25 hours of extra content, which is crazy that they added new content more than 10 years after the games came out. That's nuts. In these games you get to play through 2 legendary isometric RPG classics, as you gather a party of brave allies to explore the Sword Coast in search of adventure in the first game, and the Forgotten Realms to discover your destiny in the sequel. These games were massive back in the day, and their franchise is legendary even now, but I'll be honest, they may not be for everyone. They are pretty old, and the gameplay is pretty classic, so if you're not into your old games you might want to stay away from these. But hey, if you're a fan of RPGs, especially classic ones, you'll love these 2 games, so why not take a look? And hey, if you've never played an isometric RPG before, then I'm not sure I'd recommend starting with these. They are legendary, but they're also very old. There are modern ones that are much better mechanic-wise and graphics-wise, so I'd probably say start with them instead. But hey, if you really like old games, or you've always wanted to play these, then why not take a look? You don't always have to listen to me. We have a fighting game next. BlazBlue Chrono Phantasm Extend. It was released in 2015, so it's 8 years old, and is on a 75% discount for the price of £3.99, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it for PS Plus users only, and a pretty good deal as well. This game features an expanded story mode, with 6 scenarios and the events from the remix art, the playable character Celica Mercury, and the reintroduction of Lambda, and a personal hangout for 64-player online multiplayer, although I don't know how active that is these days. But this game is from a legendary series, so if you're a fan of fighting games and you've never played BlazBlue, why not take a look at this one? They're really well known for very good reasons. They're an awesome series, and fans of fighting games love them. So if you're a fan of 2D anime-style fighting games, and for some reason you've never played a BlazBlue game, then what have you been doing with your life? Take a look at this. You'll probably thank me afterwards. And hey, if you've never played a fighter before, then this might be a good place to start. There's a ton of fighting games around, and a lot of the AAA ones you can get for a really good price on discount, so you're kind of spoiled for choice really. But hey, this is one of the better franchises, and it's at a pretty decent price, so if you're interested, definitely consider it. You can't go far wrong. Up next we have the Hitman HD Enhanced Collection. It was released in 2019, so it's 4 years old, although the games are much older than that really. They were originally out on the PS2, so they've been around a while, and they're on an 88% discount for the price of £5.99. Which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, for PS Plus users only. This collection includes both Hitman Blood Money and Absolution, remastered in 4K 60 FPS, so you're getting 2 really good games from a legendary series, with improved graphics and visuals, so you're getting the best version of the games as well, which is really good. These are both assassin simulation games, and in Blood Money your fellow ICA agents are being murdered by a more powerful rival agency, and you're next. While in Absolution you have been betrayed by the agency and are now hunted by the police as you seek redemption in a corrupt world. When you look at the world of assassin simulation games, pretty much it's Hitman and that's it. And you can't complain at that because these games are amazing. Seriously, if you haven't played them, take a look at them. They're really good, they're really fun. It's like a puzzle crossed with an action game. They're just amazing, they're really good games. So if you're a fan of the Hitman series and you never played the originals, you should definitely take a look at this. And hey, if you've never played a Hitman game before, then I'm not sure I'd recommend starting with these ones. They are good, but because of the era they're from, they are very classic in the way they play. So if you'd like them with more modern graphics and more modern gameplay mechanics, then you can take a look at the modern series instead. They're fantastic as well, and you're not missing out on much story-wise. So either way, it's up to you. If you want to try the classics, take a look at these. And if not, subscribe and then you won't miss the other ones when they come on sale next. Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite Deluxe Edition is our next game. It was released in 2017, so it's 6 years old, and is on an 84% discount for the price of £7.99, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, for PS Plus users only, and a pretty decent deal as well, as this edition includes the Character Pass with 6 additional characters: Black Panther, Winter Soldier, Black Widow, Venom, Monster Hunter, and Sigma, so you're getting a fair bit of extra characters for your money. I don't like nickel and diming you for them, but it's not too bad if they offer a version that actually has them included. It's still scummy, but at least it's not too bad when it goes on sale. We win in the end. In this game, Ultron Sigma has begun the eradication of all biological life, and now heroes from Marvel and Capcom arise from the rubble to stand against him, with the only hope being the Infinity Stones. It features 8-player online multiplayer, although who knows if that's active these days. It's been out a while, so you never know. And the usual selection of arcade and versus modes. Marvel vs. Capcom has been around forever, and they were a huge fighting franchise back in the day, but they're not so big a deal these days, although they're still really good, and at this price you can't go far wrong. So if you like fighters and you're a fan of Marvel or Capcom, or both, then why not check this out? If you haven't played one in a while, this is a pretty good deal. And hey, if you've never played a fighter before, then I'm not sure I'd recommend starting with this one. You can get cheaper ones from the same franchise if you buy the older ones, and you can get other AAA alternatives for cheaper than this as well. But hey, if you really like Marvel and Capcom, you might be interested anyway, and at this price, it's not too bad, so it's up to you really. If you really want to play it, take a look at it. But if not, there's plenty of other fighters for you to choose from, so take a look around, or subscribe, and I'll help you find them in the next sale. We have a motocross game next, Monster Energy Supercross 2 Special Edition. It was released in 2019, so it's 4 years old, and is on a 90% discount for the low price of £3.99, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it for PS Plus users only, as this edition includes the Season Pass, with 9 DLC, a credit multiplier, and a dynamic theme as well, so you're getting a huge amount of extra content, and some extras as well, which is really cool. This motocross game features an upgraded career mode, free ride in the compound training area, over 80 official riders from the 150SX and 450SX championships, over 3,000 customizations for your bike and rider, and you get to create or download custom tracks online as well, which gives you near infinite playability really. Well, at least until they turn the servers off anyway. This is from a really good official series of motocross games, so if you're looking for official content and you don't mind it being a little older, this is a pretty good deal. It's the only series you'll get the official content in, so if you really care about that, you don't have much choice really, other than pick up an older one or a newer one. It just depends how much money you want to spend. So if you like the sound of this one, why not pick it up? And hey, if you've never played a motocross game before, this is a pretty good deal, and you get a lot of extra content included. But if you're not bothered about how relevant it is, you can always pick up an older one instead, for less money. But hey, this newer one does have newer features, and a better career mode. So if you're tempted, I doubt you'll regret picking this one up. Why not check it out? Next up is a modern sequel to a classic series, Shenmue 3 Digital Deluxe Edition. It was released in 2019, so it's 4 years old, and it's on a 90% discount for the low price of £3.49, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it for PS Plus users only. And this edition includes the DLC pass of all post-launch DLC, the Burning Sandstorm Advanced Technique scroll, and the legendary Rio flight jacket. So you're getting the complete version of the game, with some extras as well, which is great. In this open world game, Ryo Hazuki, while seeking to solve a mystery behind the Phoenix Mirror artifact, journeys to an immersive representation of rural China, full of activities and beautiful landscapes. It features arcades, combat upgrades, gambling, jobs, and more. The first 2 games of this were a legendary series, but they haven't been around in forever, and this was a huge game when it came out. Everybody was dying to see what it was going to be like, and I'm pretty sure it didn't live up to the hype. But that doesn't mean it's a bad game, it just means it's not as good as people thought it was going to be. So if you're a fan of open world RPG sort of games, you might want to take a look at this. It may not be the best game these days, but it's from a legendary series, and you might really enjoy what you can get from it. And hey, if you've never played a game like this before, then I probably wouldn't recommend it, because the originals are pretty jank these days, and they didn't really modernize a lot of the gameplay mechanics for this. So if you're a fan of the originals, you'll really enjoy it. But if you're not, I can't recommend it for new people. But hey, if you want to take a chance, why not? Take a look at it yourself and make up your own mind. We have a fighter next, Street Fighter V. It was released in 2018, so it's 5 years old, and is on a 74% discount for the price of £4.15, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it for PS Plus users only, and a pretty good deal in general. In this game, the latest version of the legendary fighting series features 16 iconic characters, an arcade mode, team battle mode, online enabled extra battle mode, although who knows if that's active anymore, and the cinematic story as Shadow Falls. This is another series that was legendary back in the day, and isn't so legendary these days, although it's still considered a great game, and there's still a lot of fans for it, and the modern ones are looked at as pretty good. So if you're a fan of Street Fighter and you haven't played one in a while, you might want to take a look at this. And hey, if you've never played a Street Fighter before, then I'd be tempted to say the 2D ones are the best ones, and that's where you should look if you really want to see what Street Fighter's about. But hey, if you want to see one of the modern ones, this one's at a pretty good price, and you can't go wrong really. So if you're interested, why not take a look? You'll probably really enjoy yourself. Next up is my star by the Sinking City Necronomicon edition. It was released in 2019, so it's 4 years old, and it's on a 90% discount for the low price of £4.99, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, for PS Plus users only. And it's a really good price as well, as this includes £15.98 worth of DLC, with 3 new quests and extra equipment as well. So you get the complete version of the game, with a lot of extra content, which is really great. In this third-person survival horror game, which was inspired by H.P. Lovecraft, you are a PI, exploring the half-submerged city of Oakmont, where you investigate cases with multiple ways to solve them, and you have to try to uncover what has possessed the city and the minds of its inhabitants. When it comes to survival horror, you've got a lot of choice these days, but this one's very different. It's a cross between survival horror and an investigation game, which is really cool. If you're a fan of H.P. Lovecraft, or you like survival horror and mysteries, then you'll probably really enjoy this game. So if that sounds great to you, why not check it out? And hey, if you haven't played a survival horror game before, then this one is a bit different, so I'm not sure I'd recommend starting with this one. There's a load of other games you could play instead, and they're more typical of the genre than this one. But hey, if you really like the idea of the investigation aspect, then don't let me stop you. Take a look at the game, and you'll probably really love it. Like I said, it's my star buy. Why not take a look at it? It's well worth your money. The next game's here for a very different reason. The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners Standard Edition. It was released in 2020, so it's 3 years old, and it's on a 50% discount for the price of $16.49, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, but it's not a very big discount, and it's not that great of a price really. And I know what you're thinking, why have you included this then? You don't normally recommend games that are this pricey without a reason. Well, here's the hook for this thing. This version will begin a PS5 upgrade with PSVR 2 compatibility on the 21st of March. When the sequel comes out, this game's getting a full upgrade. So, if you've got the PSVR 2 on its way, this is a great way to get a good game for it at a really cheap price. It's much cheaper than buying one of the new PSVR 2 games, and it'll be one of the best games you've ever played in VR. So hey, if you've got that PSVR 2 on the way, take a look at this and consider it, because at this price, it's well worth it for getting a PSVR 2 game of this quality. Trust me, you won't regret it. In this game, move controllers are required, or a PSVR 2 if you're going to play that version. And it's a VR horror survival game, where you travel through zombie-infested ruins of New Orleans as you fight, sneak, and scavenge to survive as you unravel a city-wide mystery by encountering desperate factions and lone survivors throughout the city. It features a ton of survival mechanics, including crafting, scavenging, hunger mechanics, and all sorts of other things. I've played the beginning of this game on PSVR 1, but I stopped when I found out that it was going to be upgraded for free on PSVR 2. And it's an amazing game. Out of all the games I've played in VR, it's one of the best. It's literally a normal game, but in full VR. It's like being in The Walking Dead. You have to leave your base, scavenge through towns and areas, looking for resources and food, while having to deal with zombies and rival factions as well. And even some friendly ones as well, which is great. The bottom line is, if you like VR and you're a fan of The Walking Dead, you owe yourself to play this game. Take a look at it. You won't regret it, I promise. And hey, if you've never played a VR horror survival game before, this is an amazing one. If you're not getting PSVR 2, I wouldn't recommend it right now, because it's not that cheap at the moment. But hey, if you are getting it, it's an essential purchase, it really is. Why not take a look at it? We have a racing game next, Valentino Rossi The Game Digital Deluxe. It was released in 2016, so it's 7 years old, and is on a 90% discount for the price of £2.99, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it for PS Plus users only. And it's a pretty good price as well, as this edition includes 7 DLC, 10 avatars, and 2 themes as well. So you're getting the complete version of the game with a ton of extra content, and some nice extras as well, which is really cool. In this bike racer, which is a specially themed MotoGP game that includes the MotoGP 2016 season content, along with the additional historic MotoGP champions. It features flat track races, drift competitions, rally challenges, and of course Valentino Rossi content as well. So if you're a fan of bike racing, and you like the MotoGP series, and you don't mind an older one, you might want to pick this one up. It's a really good deal for this price, and you get a lot of extra content as well, which is pretty cool. So if you like the sound of it, definitely take a look at it. It's a really good game, at a really good price. And hey, if you've never played a bike racer before, then why not take a look at this game? There's a ton of older bike racers you can buy for this price, but none of them have the Valentino Rossi stuff thrown in as well. So this is pretty unique, and it's nice to get some extra stuff thrown in with it. So if you like the sound of that, definitely do yourself a favour and take a look at it. Our next game is Vampire. It was released in 2018, so it's 5 years old, and it's on an 80% discount for the price of £6.99, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it for PS Plus users only, and a really good price in general for such a cool AAA game. This game is set in 1918 London, where you play as a doctor who becomes a vampire, and now you must balance maintaining your cover as a doctor, while also dealing with your vampiric bloodlust. It features a semi-open world, RPG talent trees, and 4 unique endings as well, so there's a lot of replayability in this game, which I think will make it a lot of fun to play. This game had rave reviews when it came out, a lot of people loved it, and for good reason. It looks like a really good quality game with really good story. If you're a fan of vampires, then you'll probably really enjoy this, and should definitely check it out, especially if you like open world action games. And hey, if you've never played a game like this before, then you might want to look at this, although you can get cheaper ones elsewhere, so if you're not sure, don't worry about it. Just take a look around in the sale, or subscribe and I'll help you find another game in the future. And the final game I have for you is the Zombie Army Trilogy. It was released in 2015, so it's 8 years old, and it's on a 90% discount for the price of £4.49, which is really good. In this third-person shooter, set in the dying flames of World War II, where a legion of undead super soldiers have been unleashed upon Europe, it features 3 campaigns across 15 levels in the irradiated wastes of Germany, and 4-player online co-op as well. And hey, it even supports stereoscopic 3D, which I still haven't found out if that'd work in the VR headset, because if it does, that'd be very interesting. And I don't see why it wouldn't. So I hope it does, but hey, if one of you guys has it and wants to try it, let me know if it works. I'd be very interested. In any case, this is a really great multiplayer third-person shooter game, so if you've got friends to play it with, then you could have a really good time with this game, so why not pick it up? And hey, if you've never played a game like this before, if you've got a group of friends that you play games with, you'll have a lot of fun with this, so you might want to check it out. So get them together and have a look. I think you'd all have a really good time. And that's all the games I have for the double discount PSN sale. I'm pretty excited because I've got my PSVR 2 coming this week, so I'm really excited to see the difference in quality and all the new tech that they've added to VR since. A lot of people are hating on it, but I'm telling you now, for the tech included in it, you're getting it at half the price it should be, and it's the cutting edge technology of VR right now. It's going to blow your mind compared to the first one, and I think it's going to be the most successful VR headset ever made. Or I hope so at least. If VR's going to succeed, the PlayStation VR 2 needs to be the one to do it, because the PC ones are too expensive and niche, and the Meta ones are just garbage. They used to be good value for money, but these days all they're doing is holding back the development of the games. They're holding back the graphics and the quality of the games, especially with their poor battery life. The limitations are so huge, it's holding the whole industry back. They need to be out of the way so that the games can flourish and become what they truly can be. And the people that say, hey, you can just connect them to a PC, and then it removes all of those problems, it doesn't, because most people won't do that. If they sold them without the battery and the hardware inside them, and they were purely VR headsets, then yes, I would agree with you. They would be a cheap alternative that would help push the systems forward. But right now, they're doing nothing but hinder them. Anyway, I hope you guys have got a PSVR 2 coming soon as well. Or one of your friends do, maybe. Let me know if you've got one coming, or if you get to try one off one of your mates. I hope a lot of people get to try them, because the more people that try them will really see what VR could do these days. And I'm excited for the future of the tech. Anyway, what did you think of the games I picked? Did I pick good ones or did I pick bad ones? And what about the Star Buy? Did they deserve it? Or should some other game have got it instead? Leave all your complaints down in the comments and we can talk about it later. Anyway, I hope you guys found some games you're interested in. But more importantly, I hope you saved a lot of money. I'll see you guys in the next sale. Au revoir.